Hi, welcome to episode 114 of the Passionate Spinner podcast. My name is Tracy. You can find me as Schnüffeltier on Ravelry and Instagram. There's a Ravelry group for the podcast. Please come over, join. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for being here for 4 years. Because last week I had my 4-year podiversary, which is crazy. I've been doing this for longer than I am a mother. This is insane. But I still love it. What? I still love it. I enjoy what I'm doing here. And so thank you all so much for making it happen and making it possible, because if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here. Okay, I have a very long show today. Want to see what I have to talk about? It's all of this and all of that. It's a lot of stuff. That's because I didn't podcast for 3 weeks. First, I was away with my husband and son for a few days, which was very needed, very, very nice. Like a wonderful break. And then my husband was away for work for 8 days, and I didn't have the time to record when he was away. And yeah, now I finally have time and stuff to talk about and weird hair. So yeah, here I am with a long episode. I'm sorry if you don't like that, but it's gonna take a while. Okay. What I'm wearing today, I am wearing the McKellen vest by Thea Coleman. The pattern was published with Brooklyn Tweed years and years ago. I knit this way before I had Tim, so this is an older garment, but it's one of my favorites, and I'm not quite sure if it really goes with his shirt, but oh well, that's what it is. So I'm gonna stand up to show it to you. This is it. I modified it because it was supposed to be, a just pullover with fake pockets, and I made real pockets because I just don't really understand why you would make a fake pocket. So I made pockets. I made knit-on button bands, and the back is cabled like this. So yeah, like I said, one of my absolute favorite garments ever, and I love to wear it. It is super warm. I knit it out of what's the word? Knit Picks heavy tweed. No, Knit Picks City Tweed. Heavy worsted, that's word. And I just love it. It turned out amazing. It's very much my color. So I think this is where my love for everything mustard started. Now, knitting in the past. I have one little thing that I have finished, and it is a sweater for Tim. I started this when we went away on vacation because I wanted to have a small portable project that I wouldn't have to think about. And I don't want to knit socks right now. So I decided on something else. And what I did was I knit a worsted sock arms for Tim. That's the pattern. It just was released, I think, a few days before we left on vacation. The pattern is by Stephanie Lotvin. And I used 2 skeins of No Makers in her Knittables Franklin colorway that I got a long time ago, and some just normal Regia 8 ply, and I reversed the concept. So the concept for the sweater is that you use a solid for the body and then a self-striping for the sleeves, and I did it the other way around. I used a variegated for the body and a solid for the sleeves, and this is what the sweater looks like. Like I said, it is for Tim. And yes, I know I could have alternated skeins in the body so it wouldn't have spiraled, but I didn't want to because I was too lazy. But I still like how it turned out. So how this sweater is constructed, and that's not a big secret. You knit the body from the bottom up, and you knit the sleeves from the top down. So super simple, very nice, seamless construction. And yeah, this is how it turned out. That's for Tim. He refuses to have his picture taken lately, so there are no modeled photos of this, but that's okay. He doesn't have to if he doesn't want to. So this is the neckline. I think this turned out really nice. And I took some really nice project in progress pictures when we were in Ireland, and they're up on my Instagram. So yeah, little worsted sock arms. I used 150-gram skein and a bit more, I think, for the sleeves. And I have quite a bit left of this yarn, so I might knit a a hat or maybe some booties or whatever. But yeah, this is for Tim. It is finished. It was very nice. I knit the sweater on a 5mm needle and the ribbing, I think, on a 4. I don't know. So that's the one thing I have finished. Now, for the million things that I have on the needles, because I started lots of stuff and I have also old stuff to talk about. So the first thing is not this one. The first thing is the Rose Cardigan by Andrea Maury. And I know I'm bending over a lot, but I wanted to have my video in front of my Christmas tree. So I'm still working on the Rose Cardigan. Not a lot because, like I said, I'm not feeling the love for it, but I want to finish it. So this is the Rose Cardigan. It is by Andrea Maury. And I am on the 2nd quadrant right now in the 3rd color. And I just have finished all the increases around here. So I am at the maximum length of the sweater now, and I just have to work on it. So that's the first three colors fading into each other. Still working on it every now and then. It's I'm using 5 colors of Collinet Chitterbug, 1 color of Scent String Serendipity Sock in a sport weight, and 1 skein of Saxon Rock lightweight that I'm going to use for the collar, because otherwise I just won't have enough yarn, because this eats a lot of yarn. And I'm knitting it on a US 5. That's a 3.75mm needle. And I've just realized that I did not bring any tissues, which is bad because I'm sick again. I'm gonna talk about that later. So yeah, the Rose Cardigan. Still on the needles, still getting a bit of love every now and then, but not a lot. Now the next thing that you already have seen is the Nook. It's from Len magazine, issue number 1. And it's the cover sweater. So this is what I'm working on. It's a top-down worsted weight sleeveless raglan sweater. And here it is. I have done a lot on this. Now where's the front? That's the front. So this is how it goes. I have knit a lot. I'm not sure if I had already separated sleeves and body last time or not, but I did separate everything and knit quite a bit down already. And what else I did is I found the other end of my skein of yarn, which is this here, and it's very small now. This is Gomitolo 200 from Lana Grossa. Bought it in my local yarn shop, and I only have this 1 skein. That's 700 meters. It is super light, and yeah, so this is what I have left. So I took the other end and knit all the ribbing at the top of the sweater. And now I'm using everything I have left to finish the body. That's how I knit my first Nook, and I think it's the most sensible way to do it, because that way you just don't end up with lots of leftovers, or you can't run out of yarn before you finish everything up here. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. The Nook is knit on a 5mm needle. That's a US 8. And I think I used a 4mm needle for the ribbing. I definitely went down. I'm just not sure to where, but I think it was a 4. Now, the other thing you already know is the So Day Cardigan by Hiroko Payne. I do not have a good picture of it to show to you, I think. But I've done quite a bit. I separated the body and the sleeves, and it looks like this now. So this is the back. No, wait a minute. Now, here we go. This is the back. You can really see the cables. And I'm very much in love with this. I think this is going to be great. The color is more what it is back here than it is what is up front. But yeah, what can I say? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of thinking, and I love knitting cables, so I don't mind that. But it's definitely not a beginner pattern at all. So this is the front. I have done all the shaping for the front, you know, and working on the cable here. There's a cable, a new cable under the arm. Then there's the back. I have finished the back chart, the first chart for the back, and I'm now on to the second chart. And I'm really enjoying it. But I have to be all alone in the morning when my son's in kindergarten, my husband's upstairs working or gone, you know, somewhere else in the world. And I need to have it just quiet or an audiobook that I already know and work on this because I need the full table to lay out my charts. And I use two 12-inch rulers to keep track of my charts and a postcard for another chart. I mark off every row that I finished with my with a pen, just so I do not get confused, and I have a row counter. So it is very involved. And also, of course, I screwed it up a bit. I did the increases here wrong. They should have been a stitch in. And now I have this very pronounced line that I don't really have on the other side. See, here, not that much of a line, but I don't care. This is the way it is. Not going to change anything on this. The yarn I'm using is Rowan Fine Art Aran Weight. This one here. It is a yarn with 20% mohair. And I hope it will not give me any problems because I'm not the biggest fan of mohair because it makes me itchy. And I've been holding it to my face and my neck all the time, and it doesn't really bother me. But I mean, holding something to your neck for 10 seconds and wearing a sweater all day long is a very different story. So I just really hope it's not gonna be a problem. So the So Day cardigan is also knit on a US 8, a 5mm needle. Now, the new things. I started a new sweater for Tim because he's just so sweet. And he wanted me to knit a sweater. You know, for weeks. So I knit him the little worsted sock arms sweater. And then when we were in Ireland, I picked up this Simply Knitting magazine. And it has the cutest kid sweater in it. And Tim saw it and immediately said, "You're going to knit this for me, Mommy. Mommy, have you started this sweater yet? Mommy, Mommy, I want this sweater." So, of course, I'm knitting the sweater. And I'm using yarn that I bought in Ireland. So I'm going to change a few things about this. So this is the sweater. And the penguin is called Pinguin in German. And my son slips an L in. So it's his Pingulin pullover. And he just, every day, "Mommy, are you knitting on my penguin sweater? Why aren't you knitting on my penguin sweater? Please sit down and knit on my penguin sweater." It's like, yeah, I am working on your sweater. So this is the sweater. What I'm changing is I'm not doing striped sleeves. I'm doing the sleeves solid. Because for my background color, I have, like I said, yarn that I bought in Ireland when we were visiting right now. And it is not the best yarn in the world, I'm sorry to say, but good for children's sweaters because it's machine washable. It is Tivoli Tweed DK. And I mean, it's a 25% wool and the rest is acrylic. And I bought it because this is spun and made in Cork, where I bought it. So this is the yarn. It's a really nice tweed yarn. It's mainly acrylic, I know, which isn't the best thing in the world, but for a children's sweater that he will outgrow in half a year, this is perfect because I can just wash it. And this is the back. It's rolling in, of course, a lot. So I have done the armhole shaping. And so, yeah, this is what it looks like so far. This is the back of the sweater. The penguin on the front is done in intarsia. And everything else is just done separate and then sewn on or just embroidered on. And I have all the yarn that I need in my project bag. I'm using different leftovers for the colorful stuff. And yeah, so this is my sweater for Tim, and I hope to finish it before Christmas because I think it would be a nice Christmas jumper for him. And I'm knitting it on a US 5. That's a 3.75mm needle. Pattern calls for a 4, but I liked the fabric that I got with these, so I just stick with them. So yeah, I'm knitting the penguin sweater for Tim because he's so cute. And he just like, Mommy, I want my penguin sweater. Have you done my penguin sweater yet? Is it done? And I'm like, oh, no, it's not. I'm not a wizard. I wish I was, but I'm not. So, and the last thing, no, I have two more things. Oh God. I started another sweater for myself. I did not bring a pattern because I don't have a picture with the pattern, and you know, then it's just kind of useless. I brought all the yarn, which is good. So I'm knitting a pattern called A Cropped Sweater for Winter by Andy Sutherland. It's a free pattern and it is written on some kind of blog. I'm not sure. It's not her blog. I think it's some else crafty stuff. And I've just printed out the instructions. And this is a top-down set-in sleeve sweater out of a worsted weight yarn. And I'm using my hand-spun, which varies from a fingering to a DK weight. So what I did is I cast on for the extra large size in hopes to have it be a large in the end. And it fits. I tried it on yesterday. So this is the front of my sweater and this is the back. The yarn I'm using is hand-spun and this is my leftover yarn. So this is still the first skein. It was a big skein. And what I did for this yarn is when I spin yarn and I end up with my two bobbins, I ply them together and there's some leftover bits on one of the bobbins. I hate doing the Andean bracelet, so I don't do that. And I never really understood why you would do a mini skein of chain ply out of the leftovers, because what would I do with that? So I just keep those leftovers on the bobbins, and once a year I ply all the leftovers together in a mishmash skein of yarn. And I used my first 5 mishmash skeins to knit a gigantic poncho when I was pregnant. And now I've accumulated 3 more of those skeins. So these are the other 2. And like I said, this was the 3rd one. And this was a very big skein because I have knit all of this already. I'm using a US 7. That's a 4.5 millimeter needle for this sweater. And I am doing it a bit differently. She has you, it's a free pattern. So she has you decrease straight from the underarm down to the waist. And for my size, I should decrease 40 stitches. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to decrease anything. I'm going to knit straight down because, you know, I'm not that. So what I'm planning on doing is before I reach the hem ribbing, I'm going to decrease 10 stitches all the way around and then do the ribbing or something similar. So yeah, hand-spun sweater. It's going to be a cropped sweater with long sleeves that I'm going to wear with my Hollyburn skirts. And I think it's going to be amazing. The only thing I'm a bit not mad about is just, this is the front and this is the back. And I would have liked the colors from the back and the front better, but I don't care. It's going to be amazing. It feels great. It's hand-spun. I mean, it's hand-spun. What else can I want? And yeah, so these leftover skeins that I'm using always give a wonderful and colorful and just interesting fabric. Because like I said, it varies from fingering to DK weight. And I honestly don't think you can tell. It's a very nice looking fabric right now. I hope it stays that way. So yeah, the sweater pattern is called A Cropped Sweater for Winter. Free pattern by Andy Sutherland. So now I'm running out of space here. Now let's turn over. Okay, the last thing on my needles is a gnome. I started a gnome with the pattern by Sarah Shearer. It is called Never Not Gnoming. And it's a lot of fun. Now, where was I? How did I have this? Like this? My only problem is I ran out of stuffing or polyfill. And I do not use normal polyfill because it's quite expensive. What I do is I buy an IKEA pillow and cut it open and use the innards of that because it's machine washable up to 60 degrees. So yeah, that's what I do. So here's my gnome. I'm using hand-spun for it because I have lots of Hand-spun, and I had this nice green and red, and I think it's very sweet. So here's my yarns. This is a chain ply that I did years ago, and also the red one I did years ago. It's a 2-ply. So it's time for me to finally use them. And this is, like I said, my first gnome. I'm gonna do 2 more where I'm gonna switch the colors around and do the bodies in the green and the heads in the red, and I'm gonna do the smaller version because it is 2 different sizes in the pattern, and this is the large gnome, and I'm gonna do the small gnome, just, you know, vice versa. And for the beard and the face itself, the nose and the hands, I'm gonna use this yarn here because I had it. That's my only reason. So yes, this is the gnome. I hope to finish it as soon as IKEA delivers my my parcel, because I'm almost done. You know, I just have to finish stuffing and finish closing it off, and then I'm gonna be done with this. So yeah. Oh, the needle. No, I should not lose a needle. I'm using what am I using? I'm using my Hand-spun, and I'm using US 4 and 6 millimeter 6s. That's 3.5 and 4 millimeter needle, and it's larger because her pattern is written for fingering weight, and I'm just using my worsted weight Hand-spun. So that is it. That's all the works in progress. Oh my God, I haven't had that many works in progress in forever, and I'm enjoying every one of them. It's just so much fun. I'm enjoying knitting really right now, and I haven't done that in a long time. So it's a good feeling. Now I have to drink. I have a lot of stuff for new stuff. I decided to, I do have also a lot of stuff for knitting in the future. Now what is this here? But as I have so much stuff to talk about already, I decided not to bring anything. And there's no spinning, so new stuff. I went to my local yarn shop yesterday because there's a new yarn from Lana Grossa, and I wanted to try it, and they have it, which is good. So I brought home a bit of yarn. I got 2 skeins of the worsted weight version of this yarn, and the yarn is called Slow Wool Canapa. It's by Lana Grossa. This is the worsted weight version, and it is 90% merino and 10% linen. Or on here it says Hanf cannabis. Nice. So it's a hemp. That's the word. Hemp. It's a merino and hemp blend. So I got 2 skeins of this really nice green. That's not showing up at all. Let me hold it back here. That's better. That's about the color. And this is what it looks like up close. I'm going to do a hat with cables with this one. I just don't know yet if it's going to be for me or for my husband. And then I got 6 skeins of the fingering weight version to do color work. I got 3 of the charcoal, 1 in a sea green, very light sea green, a dark mauve, and a natural one. And I am not sure yet what I want to do. I have 2 options. I'm either going to do the Treipmuir or something like that by Isolde, or I'm going to do the Sinister Cardigan by no idea. But I just got these, and I got this one here to, you know, either if I have to have 3 contrast colors for a colorwork sweater, or if I have leftovers of the other ones, I can use this as a main color for a shawl and just use the other leftovers with that one. So I'm very excited to use this yarn. And yeah, like I said, I bought this yesterday. And now let's continue. My friend Sandra from Punto Bunte Wolle dyed up a batch of yarn for me that I specifically asked for on a cashmere blend base. And I asked her to dye 5 skeins of a fingering weight because I don't know yet what to do. And here is it. Here it is. Now let me try to put my hands on the back so you can actually see the yarn and on my gigantic hands. So here it is, 5 skeins of this yarn. I love it. It is very nice. It's super soft because it's a cashmere blend. It has different shades of yellow, different shades of green. It is very soft. And I have no idea what I want to do with it yet, but I have options, you know, because I have 5 skeins. So that leaves me with 2,000 meters, and that's a lot of yarn. So I'm not sure yet what to do with it, but I will find a project for sure. And yeah, she custom dyed it for me. I don't have a label with the yarn because, you know, I know who made it. So I don't need a label. That's not it. There's lots more. I had Sadie, my podcast wife. She did get some stuff from Knit Picks for me because she's amazing. And she also sent me other things with it. So I'm going to start with the Knit Picks stuff that I ordered. I wanted to have this thing here, and it was on sale. They had their notions on sale. So this is the Sparkles, the Knitting Unicorn. I got the keychain, an enamel pin, and I got the stitch marker set because I just thought it is so cute. And I also asked her to order me a needle set because in Germany we have Knit Pro and they are just not as good. Knit Picks needles are great. I love my Knit Picks needles. And I do have a Caspian set, and this one is the mosaic wood needle set, and it has 3 different colored needle tips. It has the Caspians, the Majestics, and I have no idea what these are called. But there's 3 tips of each color. And then I have the ID tags and also this needle gauge with it. And the important thing here is this. It's a needle cozy. Not needle cozy, it's just a, you know, what is it called? Do you have a name? Needle case. That's the word. And I got this one, and it is big enough to not only hold these new ones but also my Caspian set, because I have here for all the tips and I have here a zipper pouch for the cables and stuff. So I'm gonna put all of my Knit Picks needles in here. So that's the stuff that I ordered from her, or I asked her to order for me. And she put in some things from herself as gifts for me. So the first thing is the funniest thing of all. Sadie is a huge fan of David Bowie or Bowie, not sure, and therefore also a fan of the film Labyrinth, where he plays the main character, or one of the main characters. And she wrote me as oh, I was so excited to get this like vintage copy of the book that goes with the movie Labyrinth. But I mean, the big problem is, it says, Der Roman zum großen Film von Jim Henson. So this book is in German. And you know who's not German? Sadie. So I ended up with this book. So thanks, Sadie. I have not seen the movie. I do know nothing about this. So I'm excited to read it. And yeah, that was just funny. She also included 2 skeins of this gorgeously soft yarn. I'm sorry. This is Llama Lace from Queensland Collection. It is 100% llama. It's a fingering weight yarn, I would say. And it is very soft. It's very nice and soft. I'm going to make something for my neck because this is soft. It needs to go around my neck. And she also sent me DPNs in 6 and 6.5 millimeter. That's a US, does it say? It's a US 10 and a US 10.5, because I was complaining that I could not find 6.5 millimeter DPNs. Now I have these, and I think I have some more coming my way in a swap parcel. I'm not sure, but I am going to use these for my next carpet. And she also sent me fabric. So first of all, she sent me this adorable Snoopy Halloween fabric, and my husband loves the Peanuts. So I'm going to make something for him, maybe a Kindle cover or something. Then a large Batman panel that I'm going to use for a quilt. That I'm also going to use this one here for. It's another Batman panel, and it looks like the front of a comic book. So this is it, and this is a huge piece of fabric. So I am going to make myself a Batman quilt in the new year because I love Batman, or more, I love the villains in Batman because they are the best villains. So these are the things that Sadie sent me. And then I have some more stuff to show. When I was in Ireland, I was in a shop in Bantry. It's called Bantry Yarns, and it is an adorable shop. And I got stuff there. So I got 2 books by Kate Davis. And these are, I think it's the only 2 I didn't already own because I have all of her books. And yeah, I bought these 2 at the shop in Bantry, and I kept the card here. So I went to this shop, Bantry Yarns in Bantry, County Cork. And I also got yarn, of course I did. I got this skein of yarn that does not have a label, but it is hand-dyed locally by 6.5 moons. A moon and 6 pence, something with a moon and a half. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it, but I got this color, which is just gorgeous. And to go with this, because I have no idea what I want to do, I got 2 skeins of Cumulus by Fiber Spates, which is a alpaca silk fluff yarn. And this color is just perfect. So this will go in one project. I just don't know what I want to do yet. If I want to do, you know, a shawl that uses them separately, or if I want to do a hat or something where I hold them together. Now I just, you know, you might have seen in my head, I had, I should have bought more and done an Elton out of this, but I didn't. So this is going to be a something accessory. And I also got 5 skeins of the socks, yeah, which is also, I think, done by Fiber Spates. And I got these 5 skeins because I want to knit a cowl by Kate Davis. It's called the Betty Muat cowl, and I wanted to do it forever, and you need 9 colors. And I got 5, and I'm gonna use 4 from my stash. And yeah, it's the socks, yeah. And also, talking about Kate Davis, I received the Milwaukee Heights. It's a book with hats in using her yarn. So I can't tell you anything about it because I only flipped through once. So yeah, I had a lot of new stuff today, and I didn't even bring everything because I have one thing that I got already in a Knitting in the Future pack that I didn't bring. So that was that. Whew! I'm not nearly done. For reading, listening, watching, I have a lot to talk about. I finished 2 books. So the first book that I read was The Body Is Not an Apology by Sonia, sorry. I read this on vacation. I decided while we were on vacation, I decided to do a display free time. So I didn't want to read on my Kindle. I didn't want to take the iPad. I didn't want to look on my phone a lot. So I didn't do anything on Instagram. I didn't listen to an audiobook. I didn't read on a Kindle. Nothing. So I decided to take real books. And my decision process was very simple. I picked out the 4 thinnest books I bought this year and decided to take 2, and I read one of them. So that was one of them. It's a very thin book. It has like 120 pages. 116. So this book, The Body Is Not an Apology. The Power of Radical Self-Love is the tagline. And if you've been watching my podcast for a while or follow me on Instagram, you know that I struggle with my body a lot. And this is the second body positivity book that I've read this year. And I'm not sure if it's working. because I just don't know. It's so hard. There's actually a line in this book that I also finished that describes what I'm thinking perfectly. And of course I didn't mark it. I'm going to try to find it. Maybe I can find it. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So while I look in here and see if I can find this line, that's just, you know, I should have tagged it. I read it yesterday evening and I thought that's exactly how I feel. Oh ma. Well, yeah. That's just not working, is it? Oh well. Never mind. I'm sorry. That was awkward. So yeah, I read this book and basically the lines I was looking for in the other book was something like, it's hard to let go of hatred when you had it for such a long time. And that's basically the way that I would describe my relationship with my body. So it's not hard. It's not easy to let go of the thought process that you had in your head for so long. And I agree with most of the things that I read in here. You know, it's not that I think it's not a good book. It is a good book. It's just, it's so much easier said than done, because the whole just stop giving a shit. You are who you are and run with it. It's just not simple. And every time I feel like I am starting to be okay with who I am, you know, I get smacked down. For instance, yesterday, I decided I needed new clothes, 2 new clothing items, and we needed something for Tim as well, so we went to a shop in the next town. And I needed a swimsuit and a winter coat, which is an interesting combination of things to get in one shopping trip, but I needed both of these things. So here is where my body positivity struggles come from. I got a swimsuit. And the problem is, I'm not a small girl. You know, I'm not a big girl either. I'm in between. The problem is, I have small breasts. It's just a fact, you know, they are the way they are. So finding a swimsuit for a bigger body with big breasts, no problem. Finding a swimsuit for a small body with big breasts, no problem. Small body, small breasts, no problem. Big body, small boobs, very, very big problem. So I could not find a swimsuit that would fit me. So I ended up buying one that's too big at the top, that I have to stitch a line to close it up further so it will, you know, stay where it should be. So that was the first thing. That was like, yeah, my body just sucks. And then I went to a different department in the store and said to her, like, yeah, I'm looking for a winter coat. I want it to be a black one. She looked at me and said, what size do you wear? And I said, well, I need a large, you know, an L. And she said, oh, okay, let's go to the big girl section then. Well, thank you. I did not know that the big girl section started at size large. I always thought the big girl section would start at a 2 or 3X, you know, have it be to an XL in the normal section. But no, I had to go to the big girl section. That just kind of, you know, didn't feel too good, because I don't feel like I need to shop in an oversized section. It's just, and when, you know, all of these things happen, it's just so hard to say, yeah, fine, it's who I am, and to love yourself while everyone else keeps telling you that's just, yeah, no. Your body is not working for anything, really. So yeah, that was my experience yesterday. And that is why I struggle with books like this, because yes, it tells you to love yourself, but it's hard. It's not easy. Okay, next book I finished was finally, Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. It's the second book in the Six of Crows duology. And I liked the book. I had the same issues that I had with the first book. All the actions, everything that happens makes so much sense. The only thing that doesn't fit in the story for me is the age of all the protagonists, because they are between 17 and 19 years old and their actions are those of mid-30 people. And it's just not working for me. Apart from that, wonderful book, wonderful story. Yeah, that's exactly the same thing I said when I finished the first book. It's a great book. It's a great story. The age of the people does not work for me. Teenagers do not at all behave that way. So for listening, I started re-listening the Harry Potter books because, like I said, when I'm knitting on a sew day, I need something that I already know and I don't want silence around me. And music is very distracting for me because when it comes to music, I know a lot. I know a lot of music and I know a lot of texts. You know, the lyrics, I can just remember them easily. And that makes me always go through the lyrics in my head or wanting to sing along, you know, which I only do when I'm alone. And so I can't listen to music while I am concentrating on my knitting. I can't even listen to instrumental music because then I know the song and I just sing along the melody in my head. So yeah, music and knitting doesn't work for me. So I started re-listening to the Harry Potter books and I finished books 1 and 2 and I am on book 3. I'm listening to the English version, of course, because it is narrated by Stephen Fry and I love Stephen Fry. So that's what I did. For watching, I've watched a lot of things. First of all, I did something I've never done in my life before. I went to the cinema alone in Ireland. When we were in Bantry, our hotel was right next to the cinema. It's really, I had a shorter way from the reception of the hotel to the cinema than I had from the reception to our room. So I went to the cinema alone. I left my husband and son alone in the evening and I went and watched Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. And it was amazing. So that's what I did. I went to the cinema all by myself and I loved it. The problem is I would love to go to the cinema way more often, but I don't like watching films when they are dubbed into German. So watching an English movie in a cinema around here is nearly impossible. So I don't go to cinema at all. And then I also watched some movies. So first of all, I watched Avengers Age of Ultron. And it was amazing, of course. I love superhero movies. We all know that. And going in the same line, I started watching Agent Carter, which is a TV series that came after the Captain America movie, where Agent Carter is a main character. And this focuses on her. And it's amazing because I love her. She's so strong in every sense. And I just wish I could be like her. So, oh, there's something popping up on my computer. Go away. Good. Now, I finished the first season. It's only 8 episodes, you know, so it's two evenings. And the second season is going to have 10 episodes. And there were only 2 seasons, which is very sad because we need more series that are based around very strong female characters. So this is a good one. And yesterday, my husband and I, we watched Baby Driver for the first time. And it is an amazing movie because, like I said it like not 5 minutes ago, I love music so much. And having a movie that is basically based around music, it's just perfect. Everything that happens in this movie happens to the beat of the music. It's amazing. So we watched it last night. We decided to watch this a million times over because there's so many small details that happen, like I said, to the rhythm of the music that we didn't catch the first watch, you know. And I also ordered the soundtrack on vinyl last night for a Christmas gift for my husband because the soundtrack is amazing. So that's all the watching. Now, I have one thing to show you for weaving. Yes, you heard that correctly. I have a finished object for the weaving part of this podcast that never features. So this is a long story, but I'm going to make it short. On the 1st of January 2013, I decided to weave a blanket, and I finished it 2 days ago. I wove 2 large panels, seamed them together, and I had the first panel done in like 4 days, and I warped the loom for the second panel, and I started weaving, and then we moved in between, and I didn't touch it until last March when I finished it. Then I seamed it together in the middle, and I did serge the 2 sides where I had cut the warp off the loom to make it, not fray. And then I initially had thought about doing a quilt binding with fabric all around, and my nose is itching, I'm sorry. And I didn't do that because I was kind of afraid to really ruin this blanket. And the other day I decided, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm just going to finish it. It's going to be okay. And I decided not to do a quilt binding, but just to a fold over hem on those 2 sides, because the other 2 sides were the sides of my knitting, of my weaving, so they are already bound. They cannot fray. So I just used a walking foot. Now I can't find an edge, and did a fold over twice, hem, and sewed it down. So that is it. That's all I did. And I did a small seam here to close it shut, so the ends of the overlocking seam will never poke out. And that's what I did. So it is very large. It is 1.60 meters wide, or almost, because it shrank down a bit. After you take it off the loom, your stuff shrinks down. And I think it's about 1.80 meters long. I'm gonna stand up. I'm not gonna be able to show it to you. So this is basically what it looks like, but just very, very long. You see, it's big. It is very big. It covers me and my husband at the same time. So I finally finished it. This is 700 grams of yarn. I used yarn from Junghans Wolle. That's a German big box online shop for yarn. And this is a mainly acrylic blend because I bought this yarn originally to knit a blanket for a friend, and I did. And I had lots of leftovers, and I wanted the blanket for her to be machine washable and dryable. So this blanket that I just finished is going to be machine washable, and I can tumble dry it. And that is why I bought the yarn, because I wanted to be able to do that. And yeah, it's the biggest object of the year. It took more yarn than the dude sweater, and it also took more yarn than the Mania cardigan, which is saying a lot because they both used over 2,000 yards of yarn. So it is done. It's done. Almost 6 years in the making. That's crazy. But finished. And oh God, now I have fluff in my nose from the blanket. So yeah, I'm not done yet. Yeah. I told you it's going to be a long episode. So everything else. There is a VKN going to happen this Saturday. That is the 15th of December at 9 p.m. GMT +1. And like always, go to the group on Ravelry, search for the VKN tab or thread. It is sticky at the top. And then you just have to click on the link that I will provide and you're in. That's all. Super simple, super easy. And you don't need to have special equipment. You can just join from your phone if you want to. So it's very, very easy. And now for my mental health talk at the end. I decided to talk about why I'm sick again, first of all, and then about friendship. So I'm sick again. I have another head cold with a sinus infection again. And I always get that when I have emotionally extremely stressful days, when my body just completely shuts down. And I had a couple of those days last week when my husband was away. So first, one of the days, just one, all the other days didn't, you know. My son is an angel most of the time, but last week we had one day where he was a devil, and I could have, you know, just smacked him on against the walls all day long. And of course I didn't, because I love my child. But they do have days where they just assholes, and he was, it was an awful day. And then the next day he was perfect again. I just no idea why and what happened. Just he was an awful child for one day, and all the other days he was an angel. So so the day after he was out of control, I had some not so good things happen in my friendships, and with people that I love, but I sometimes feel like they are not good for me, and that didn't feel good. Then I was just really, really down on that day. And I had a phone call with my mom. I wanted her to cheer me up, and she brought me even downer. So I wasn't good. And then the day after, I got sick, because that's how it happens. You know, I have two or 3 days that just are so exhausting emotionally, not you know, physically. And then I get sick. I know that it's always the same thing. I just wish it wasn't, because being sick sucks, but you know, it is what it is. So what this did was it made me think about friendship and how I view friendship. And I've been told that I have just a false idea about friendships when you're an adult. So I want to have a friend that will go out for coffee with me once a week, or get excited about things that excite me, because I'm like that. You know, when you are excited about something and you tell me about it, I'm going to be excited for you. And I don't have someone like that in my life. You know, that one person that just gets you and is always there and just makes time for you and your needs, and not just them and their needs. And I just don't have that. And I've been talking to Sadie, of course, because she's the real friend that I have, that I would love to have near, because we would be exactly like that. But she's just at the other end of the world. That makes it a bit hard. And she told me that I didn't see it the wrong way, that is what friendship was supposed to be. And people here keep telling me that it's just not feasible. Is that a word? That is not how it works when you're an adult, because you have so many other things going on. And I don't know. Maybe I am totally wrong. Maybe TV shows and books and movies have ruined my view of friendship in a way that's just not realistic. I do not know. So I would love to know what you think about it. Because I think that if I'm friends with someone and it makes me feel bad about myself a lot, or, you know, just sad more than happy, that's not a good thing. And that's been happening to me for a while now, for a very long time. And I just don't think that I can take it that way any longer, because I'm a human, you know, I'm not invisible, I'm a person, and I think I do deserve to be seen by my friends. So yeah, please, if you have an opinion on this, let me know. Maybe I do have a totally wrong view of friendship in an adult life, but maybe I don't. So let me know what you think. And but just, you know, if you think I'm wrong, tell me in a nice way. That would be appreciated. And yeah, I think I'm going to stop now, because it's still under an hour, which is good, and I want to keep it that way. So I hope to have some finished objects next week, if I can podcast next week. We will see. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna try. So I hope you all have a wonderful time. I will talk to you again before Christmas for sure. And yeah, that is it. Until I talk to you, I hope you enjoy everything you do. Bye.